everyone. So in here, I got myself finally a belt grinder, a proper one. This takes the 2x72 belts without any modifications. This is not a Vevor. This is an Intbuying, so like international buying. They have a website, they're on eBay, they're on Amazon. I'll have a link to the affiliate for Amazon for this exact model down below. So if you kind of see this is something for you, maybe you need to buy it. So this is not a Vevor. The reason why I'm making that clear is it was supposed to be a Vevor. I ordered early December from Vevor their 2x82 belt grinder, and 3 days after I order it, they emailed me to say they're canceling my order because of logistics reasons. Don't order it again in short term. They'll email me when it comes available. Okay. They give me a full refund. Okay, people make mistakes. I get it. So I'm like, I know they're on Amazon, so I'll go over there and buy it from there. So go on Amazon, and sure enough, Amazon is actually selling it. And Amazon is the seller. I'm like, great. They must know what they're doing. They know their inventory. So a couple days after I order, I get a tracking number, says it's shipped. Perfect. A week and a half goes by, and then I get a message from Amazon saying they can't fulfill my order. So I waited over 3 weeks to get a Vevor, never got one. Now while I'm sitting around waiting for it, I see Roy at Christ Center Forge doing a great review on a Vevor that Vevor sent to him free of charge to check out. And I'm like, so you can send it to your influencers, but you can't send it to your paying customers. Okay, fine. So this one I picked up. Now this is actually the one I originally was going to buy, but I'm like, Vevor has, the affiliate links and influencer, and they have quite a bit of blacksmith stuff that I was hoping to bring in here and try out. Not sure yet if that's going to be something I'm going to do. So back to this one. So this is actually a used model. It was purchased. Something went wrong with it. I'm not fully understanding what went wrong, but the seller refurbished it and is going to give me a 60-day money back guarantee if something is wrong with it. So, and at a good discount. So I'm like, okay, let's give it a try. So enough talking. Let's open this up. So now with this being an open box, some of the packaging will be different than if you get this new. But it comes in a wooden crate, so how bad could it be? Now this model is 220 volt. It does not come with the adapter to do 110, which is okay. I was always planning on running this belt grinder as 220, so I'm not too worried about that, but that's something to keep in mind. Now, those step-up voltage things, they're $70 from Amazon and stuff like that. So if you don't have 220 in your shop, you can get one of those transformers to up your 110 to 220. Anyways, here we go. Ooh. So, nothing much in packaging, but like I said, this is an open box, so might be a little different than what you'll get. So in here, looks like manuals. We do have 2 wheels. These are the smaller wheel attachments. And where did I put my tape measure? Smaller wheel attachment, which is the smallest one, 3/4 of an inch or 2 centimeters. And the bigger one appears to be a 1 inch, maybe, let's see, no, 1 1/4 or 3 centimeters. Okay, put that aside. As you can see, we get a big contact wheel. Now, this does not have the serrations in it, but that's okay. It does have a little bit of dings. Not too bad. The rubber, that's a pretty solid rubber. So I think it will hold up good. And if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be 12 inches or a little bit under 12 inches. Actually, that's interesting. That's a 10-inch wheel. I thought that was going to be a 12-inch wheel. So that's a 10-inch wheel, which, you know, that's still pretty, actually, yeah, it's still pretty good. 10 inches or, what is that, 253? So it's still a good size. Put that aside. Here's my flat platen. So one thing I like about them is they actually have cast pieces for the standoffs for the flat platen, which I think on the Vevor they're actually just formed, and I've heard of people actually having them a little bit out. Now, I'm gonna have to, like, when I go through all this, look at it and stuff, but I have a feeling that's going to be a lot closer than what you might get from a Vevor. So, you got flat platen. This is your tool rest. This little guy is to have those the little rounds that I showed you at first. This is to hold the tool rest. And let's see, what plug do they have on this? Okay, so they put a 110 plug on a unit that is only supposed to run on 220 volts. So I'm wondering if maybe that's why it got returned. Someone tried to run it on 110 and fried something or something like that. So one thing I am noticing, like, there is a little bit of rust on some of the components here, but overall not bad. Oh, that's nice. I wasn't expecting this. The front controller can actually be removed on the VFD, and you could just use a cable to run from this to that. So you can put this away out of all your away from your grinding dust and have this closer to your grinder. So that's nice to see. So I'm gonna get this out and set it up, and let's play with it. Okay, so I just temporarily set it up here on my bench. Now, one thing I will point out is that I did have to put it up on wood because the drive wheel does stick a little bit lower than this bottom plate. So it's about 1 millimeter, a little bit less actually. So a couple of washers underneath would also do, but I just had these 1/2-inch boards lying around, so I just screwed it on temporarily. For the main frame, it's all CNC cut parts, and it's all bolted together. There's no welds on the main frame. Most of the plate is 10 millimeter or a 3/8 thick. The track and wheel arm is 13 millimeters or a 1/2 inch. And then the bar for your attachments, that is 25 millimeter or 1 inch. Now, I got the flat platen on here right now, and I have checked, and both the wheels and the flat platen is actually square to the D plate. So that's really nice to see. One thing I will point out is the tool rest seems a little small to me, especially if you're doing a knife, because right now it's, what, 6 inches? Yeah, it's 6 inches across. I would think that it needs to be a little bit longer.
but it is just bolted on by 2 bolts. So you can easily put a bigger plate on there. And everything's basically bolted together. So modifications on this that you want to do, it's simple as making a new plate, bolting it on. So that's kind of nice. So the VFD that I got with it, the instructions came in, I'm assuming, Mandarin. So I don't know if you can change what the display shows. Currently it's set up to run this machine, and it's showing the hertz that it's running the motor. So I don't know if I could change that to RPMs or feet per minute. That's something I'm going to have to look into down the road. But like I said, this is all set up, ready to go. And to start it off, it's just as simple as pushing the button to run. And you can control the speed by this little knob. And then the stop button is just a stop button. Now, changing the attachment is real easy. Just take the tool rest out. Now, the flat platen does have a bolt so you can adjust the angle on the flat platen. And that just needs an Allen key to take that out. And you just have to do a half turn on that. It just comes right out. Yes. And here's the 10-inch wheel on here. Get that bolt out of the way. Check the track in. Okay, so that's a quick look at the Intbuying belt grinder here. I haven't used it that much yet, so I can't do a full, in-depth review of how this is. But at first look, it looks like a good machine. The quality of the build looks good. Most of the design seems, solid and really thought of. Like the flat platen, it came out of the box already squared, which is really nice to see. And it takes the 72 belt without any modifications, which is really nice. This is really a turnkey solution where you just take it out of the box, plug it in, and work. Well, kinda. And that's one of my biggest cons about this is the plug. Why they use the 110 plug on it, I'm not sure. They could have easily put a 220 plug. It's a 110. Now, the only thing I can think of is that they might have been thinking of your dual welders, where it can run on 110 and 220, will have an adapter that's similar to this, where it does take the 110 in and changes it to 220 50 amps. I'm not sure why they put a 110 plug. The other thing I didn't like really, but it's kind of a small thing, is the drive wheel being lower than the main plate. I don't know if they were thinking that you would have it off your bench, like off the side of your bench, but you know, a couple washers underneath your bolts is more than enough to lift that up, so you won't have a problem with it. So not really a big deal to me. And the last thing is the tool rest. And I don't know how much, because I haven't used it that much, I don't know how much of the size of this really matters. I don't make knives, so is this good enough? I don't know. But with that said, it is held on by 2 bolts, so you can easily take the plate size you want, you know, drill holes, tap them, and just bolt it right on. So, you know, there's, with this being a budget belt grinder, there are going to be some little things that you might have to tweak to make it, you know, what you want. But I think any belt grinder you buy, you're probably going to have to do that. So overall, I kind of like it, and I'm glad it's in my shop. So yeah, what else can I say? So I will be using this in a couple of projects coming up. So look forward to seeing those videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, click that bell so you can get the videos when I use this. And I hope you got some information out of this. Thanks.